Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. And I just realized I forgot to turn on some of my lighting. What's new, right? It's always something, man. Always something with these live streams. How's it going today? Happy hump day. Happy hump day. It's kind of crazy to believe that we're already midweek at this point. The good news is for a lot of people here in the U.S., it's a short week. So hopefully you will have plenty of good plans. Matter of fact, what are your plans for the 4th besides going to see fireworks? Man, I don't know. When my kids were younger, it was great. Didn't mind going and like walking wherever, fighting all the crowds and all that kind of baloney to see fireworks. Now it's kind of like, eh, you know, but maybe I'm just getting old. Hey, Automatic Beats is in the house. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you being here as always. And he says he's just going to be drinking beer and blowing shit up. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. I mean, it's the 4th of July after all, right? Well, hopefully, Automatic Beats and everybody else here will take some time tomorrow to join me for the live stream at 10 a.m. I'm going to have a special guest, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get to the end of the live tomorrow. Sorry, I can already see that the internet is glitching here. I actually complained to them about this, but I'll do my best to keep the stream up and running. So my apologies about that. But we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court overturning the Chevron Doctrine, a 40-year-old ruling that basically gave the administrative state and certain agencies, well, pretty much all agencies here in the U.S. government, if you ask me, way too much freaking wiggle room in what they do. And we've seen a lot of that here in the cryptocurrency space. Let's see. Got to make sure our neighbors to the north can hear the smell. Yes, that smell of freedom. Yes. If I was going to say if Jar was here or Paperclip was here, we could definitely tell them about that. Who knows? Jar, I don't think is going to be joining in today, but Paperclip might. You never know. 100 Air is in the house. Yes, driving. I there it is. I get it. I appreciate the fact that you're tuning in. As you're driving, as you're working, I really appreciate it. As always, my friend, as always. All right, let's start out with the markets as we usually do. Right now, hold on. There we go. That's better. You know what? Bitcoin has been struggling to stay above that 60K mark. I actually DCA'd this morning. For those of you who know, every Friday night, Crypto on the Rocks, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You guys get to vote as to what we're going to dollar cost average into every single week. This second half of 2024 is all about DPIM projects, but we always DCA into Bitcoin. So I did that today. I thought I got a decent price, and then it dropped DK a little while ago. So we'll see what happens with that as we go. So right now, 60,488 for Bitcoin. Still down a little bit, about 1.4%. We got Ethereum down almost 2% at 33.11. I mean, we saw Ethereum up in that 38K range with the announcement of the Ethereum ETFs. And you want to know what? In because they knew it was coming, because it just shot up before the announcements were even made. So anyway, let's not get me going about that. But we got Ethereum at 33. BNB. Still, I was very happy with BNB being over $600. Right now, $559, down 2.8% on the week. But you know what? It's still holding really strong. And I just kind of expected it to be going a lot stronger given, all the positive news with regard to Binance and their with the SEC. Can't not stop here. Look at this. Solana up 5% in the last 7 days, 143.72, and that's great. Solana was kind of down there in the what was it, low 120s for a while, and back up 143.72. So not bad. We'll take that. And where is it? Because I know it's here. There it is. Sold to the moon, baby. Yes. Thank you, Automatic Beats. I come looking for it every single time. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep going here. XRP looking, I don't know, like kind of like a stable coin right about now. 47 cents. Not bad if you're looking to go and put some more XRP in your wallet. Dogecoin, I'll tell you, down 4.4% over the last 7 days, and just under the 12-cent mark. Not bad. Cardano making a slow tear back up. It was down in the mid 30s there for a while. Now 41 cents, up 4.3% on the 7-day mark. Tron up a little bit. Again, I stop at Tron because it's used so much around the world right now. That's how people are getting right now for moving USDT in you know, these countries like Venezuela, Argentina, etc. That are wanting to get a hold of US dollar. Using Tron is the best way to do it. Up 3.8% in the last 7 days, just under that 13-cent mark. So looking pretty damn strong for Tron. You want the truth? Let's keep going here. AVAX. No, I love AVAX. Anything with well, I don't want to say that. Again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy, interwebs. But AVAX looking pretty good. 27.18, up 4% in the last 7 days. Chainlink, again, I love Link, and I'm going to say it this time. You know, anything under $20 for Link, I think great buy. 3% up on the last 7 days at 14.45. Looking pretty good. BCH, Bitcoin Cash, again, use it for what it's meant to be used for. Buy shit with it and save your Bitcoin, okay? 375.19, not bad for BCH. Uniswap, again, still looking pretty strong, even though it's down 7.5% in the last 7 days, $8.64. I love the fact that it's staying so strong. It's, again, a thumb in the eye to me, to the SEC, after their Wells notice to Uniswap Labs. Litecoin, again, you know, I like Litecoin. I pay for my VPN with Litecoin, so they don't need to know who I am. Up 3.9%. It was down to low 70s maybe about a week ago, give or take. 74.18. And if you're interested in, you need a VPN service, I use and promote TorGuard. Link is in the description of this live stream. Go ahead, check that out. Let's keep going down here. Matic, can't not stop at Matic. Again, anything under $1 for Matic, I think is great. Right now, down 1.2% over the week, 54 cents. Pepe, I mean, if you're into meme coins, I mean, I don't know. I think Pepe is going to do good in this bull cycle. Down 17.5% right now. Maybe it's a good time. Maybe it's a good time to get into Pepe. Now, Caspa, we can't not stop here because, I mean, this thing has been on fire, and I'm hoping that you checked out FF's channel as well as the Matrix Money podcast. He did a bunch of live interviews while we were streaming and while he was down in Mining Disrupt, talking to the guys from CAS. He did a separate interview later on, which he posted on his channel. And honestly, we're probably going to co-post that if I can ever get around to being able to do it on the Matrix Money podcast channel. And Caspa looking great right now, up just about 5% in the last 7 days. Over 17 cents. So looking mighty strong for Caspa. Hold on 1 second. Yes. F in the chat. F in the chat for FF. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, FF's all over it, man. FF's all over it. All right, let's keep going here. Monero, you know I like privacy coins. I think starting next year, we're going to need privacy coins with the way shit is going here in this country. But again, not for this particular live stream. We got good news today. But Monero, the largest of the privacy coins, looking good. up 1.2%, 166.81. And now again, remember, this is after being delisted from every centralized exchange. So basically, the only place you're getting Monero at this point is on DeFi exchanges. So awesome. Render. Look at this. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it to go. There we go. Render down 3% over the last 7 days. This is one of those cryptos you can vote for every Friday night, 7 p.m. Crypto on the rocks. And looking not bad right now, $7.29 for Render. So make sure you're joining in every Friday night, 7 p.m. And after that, I'm starting to do 2 hours Crypto on the rocks. So from like 7 to 9. And my plan is to go from like 9 to whenever on after hours crypto. Now, after hours crypto, the only way you can watch that, and let me tell you, if you didn't, if you weren't watching that last week, you missed some interesting conversation, because though it's called after hours crypto, it isn't always about crypto. And we deviated in crypto last week, but the only place you can watch it is on Patreon, and that's on purpose. You have to have a membership on my Patreon in order to do that. And the reason for that is because I don't want to get censored on YouTube, and well, I wouldn't get censored on Odyssey probably, but on YouTube in particular, because again, the masses are still on YouTube. I got to be able to help to educate people in this frame. But on Patreon, you want to know what? I can speak my mind, and I know you guys are going to say, well, you do that already on Crypto on the Rocks after you've had a few drinks. And you're right. But you know, what are you going to do? And yeah, Flux, write it down. Yeah, okay. And on that Friday, when you guys get to vote, Automatic Beats always about the Flux, but he's been getting a little bit of pushback from some other people that have been in on the stream. So you got to make sure you're there Friday night and help Automatic Beats out. I'm thinking he'll be very appreciative of that to get Flux voted in. But let's keep going here. HBAR. You want to know what? I honestly am thinking I might be purchasing a little more HBAR today so I can put it into some staking, because this is almost, I can't believe how low the price is on HBAR right now. Down 3.6% over the last 7 days at about 7.5 cents. But I mean, passive income with staking, and it's super easy to stake. Go ahead to my YouTube channel and you can just search up HBAR and you'll see all the videos I've done with regard to that. But HBAR right now, 7.5 cents. Let's keep going down here. Filecoin, another DPIM project. I'm surprised that it's this low, quite frankly, down 4.2%. And $4.22. Stacks looking pretty good, even though it's down almost 7% if you're into the building on Bitcoin thing. And Immutable X, another one. I like Immutable X, up 1.4%, $1.55. VeChain, we were talking about that yesterday. Did you guys see the Matrix Money podcast yesterday? Myself, FF, we're doing an interview with Paula Guilfoyle, and she has done some, well, she's helping to educate people in this space. She has a super amount of experience in a bunch of different areas. She uses it to track cryptocurrency, and she was talking because one of the projects that she's working with right now is VeChain, and she was explaining what VeChain is. And I've always been a proponent of VeChain, and they're going, I didn't realize until that interview yesterday, they're going into different areas. They were a lot about tracking of products so you could verify the authenticity. Whew, say that 5 times fast. And no, I haven't even been drinking yet, just coffee. Anyway, I thought that was good, but they're moving into other areas now. And she was talking about that a bit yesterday. So if you haven't already seen that, go back, check that out. And as we keep going here, WIF, how can you not stop at WIF, right? It's under $2, under $2. Look at this, down 11% in the last 24 hours, 1.8% on the week, $1.98. Again, if you're into the meme coin thing, might be your buy right now. Arweave, Arweave was one of the DPINs that was up for you guys to vote to bring into the DCA portfolio. It did not make the cut, but LBRY, library token, or Odyssey in this case, looking to move on to Arweave. That's a whole confusing situation to me. And for those who, for whatever reason, I do get pulled off of here being YouTube, you can find me on Odyssey. All my stuff is backed up on Odyssey. So go ahead, check that out. Follow me there as well. What else we got here? Floki, might as well stop in at Floki. Look at this, down almost 9% in the last 24 hours, 4.5 on the week. Might be a good buy for Floki. I think Floki is going to be one of those ones that does good in this particular bull cycle as well. Let's see what we got. Thorchain, Rune. You know what? I did not realize that this thing was back under $4. Holy crap. Down 3.4% in the last 7 days, over 7% in the last 24 hours. And you know what? I don't know. It might be time for me to try and scrape some money together to get me some more Rune. I'm working on putting together some video content with regard to Thorchain and one other, help me, one other wallet. So stay tuned for that. I'm not going to go into that right now, but watch for that. Good buy for Rune. Great buy for Rune, if you ask me. Algo looking pretty good, up 2.9%, so 3%, 14 cents. Quant. I can't believe Quant dropped this much. Holy moly. $78, up 2.5%. Let's check out Jupe. We got to, for those who are on Solana, the Jupiter exchange is very, very popular. Down 7.2% in the last 24 hours. Pretty much even keeled over the last 7 days, though. Let's see. Gala. That was one of the ones you could have voted for in the last cycle on Crypto on the Rocks. Down a lot, 8.5% in the last 7 days, 2.5 cents. Beam, another one you could have voted for. That one's down a lot, even though it's up 1.7% in a week. It is down big time from when we were doing our DCA in there. So 1.7 cents with regard to that. Let's see what else anything else we're going to talk about. Neo, you know, I was actually thinking I might even buy some more Neo and continue staking that. That's literally just been sitting in its wallet doing its thing, staking, earning passive income. Still upside down. I bought it at like the height of the bull cycle back in 2017 or something like that, and I've just been holding it ever since. But I might DCA my cost basis down here a little bit. Any of you guys staking Neo? Tell me about it if you are. Appreciate hearing that. All right, that's it for markets here at this point. So let's talk about what we're supposed to be talking about, which is the Supreme Court overturning the Chevron doctrine or deference. So you know what? I've got certain things highlighted in what I'm going to show you. So I'll give you my 2 cents as it is. Frankly, as you could probably tell by the thumbnail, I think that this is going to be good as a whole for the cryptocurrency space. I think there's a definite, it's definitely going to help in order to promote, I'm hoping, good, solid, fair cryptocurrency regulations in the United States. So, don't forget, see what that says. Where is it? Right there. Like, subscribe, make sure you share this. Appreciate that. All right, let's bring up the first page here that I want to show you, which is basically this is from say that 5 times fast. The Federal News Network. Basically, now they're at they are trying to answer what this means for you. And when they say you, they're talking the general U.S. citizen kind of thing. And we're not going to get into a lot here, but there was, I wanted to kind of point out and it didn't highlight it. I wanted to kind of point out what this Chevron doctrine, Chevron deference is. And this pretty much sums it up in a nutshell. In 1984, the courts decided that judges should generally defer to federal agencies when rules they make are reasonable and the enabling law is ambiguous. And it's saying last week's decision because this decision from the Supreme Court came down the end of last week. I'm a little slow on the uptake here. Sorry about that, guys. But basically, last week's decision, so this overturning reverses that thinking. And, let's be honest. When you think about it, it almost makes sense, right? So the courts, the judges that are hearing a lot of these cases, they can't be experts on every facet, on every aspect of life that and that might be coming in front of them for whatever hearing or court case they're hearing at that time. And so a lot of times for stuff that's maybe technical or is heavy, again, 5 times S, heavily regulated, the courts can't necessarily always sift through. Although we've seen recently, especially in the Ripple decision, that some judges will literally sift through the minutia to put out what, at the end of the day, is a very thoughtful and thought-provoking and detailed ruling on a particular case. And that has not always been the case. And for the last 40 years, this ability by the experts, as I'm using my air quotes here, to basically defer to them, so these 3-letter agencies, and again, we here in this space talk a lot, mostly about crypto, so it's a lot about the SEC, maybe the DOJ, CFTC, all of these agencies. But more broadly applied, you're talking about all kinds of things. And we're going to look at a tweet from Balaji. And again, everything that I'm talking about right now, links are in the description, so you can go and research all of this on your own. As always, I like to make sure that I'm putting those links there because, you're getting my 2 cents. I'm showing you, obviously, online what they're saying. We read through some of it sometimes. But at the end of the day, you might want to go do your own research. Heaven forbid, right? Wait, there it is right there. Especially if you're using all this general macro information in order to consider, in this case, cryptocurrency projects, what you're going to be investing in, that kind of thing. Guess what? You definitely want to be doing your own research. So anyway, let's, make sure you do it. Let's just leave it at that. Make sure you do it. Let's go check out the next one I want to show you, I want to highlight right now, which is actually the Supreme Court of the U.S. blog. So SCOTUS blog, as it's listed here. And they have, whoops, yeah, that's better. Now you can see it. So basically it's that there's an opinion analysis here by Amy Howe. And Supreme Court strikes down Chevron curtailing power of federal agencies, which is exactly what is going to happen here. And basically, and to right here, she gets into it here in this first paragraph. In a major ruling, the Supreme Court on Friday, again, this was last Friday as of the recording of this live stream, cuts back sharply on the power of the federal agencies to interpret laws they administer and ruled that courts should rely on their own interpretation of ambiguous law. The decision will likely have far-reaching effects across the country, from environmental regulation to healthcare costs. And again, remember, that's at the end of the day, that's literally what this Chevron doctrine covers everything the courts have been voting on for forever, the last 40 years, basically. And just again, to reiterate right now, under that doctrine, if Congress has not directly addressed a question at the center of a dispute, a court was required to uphold the agency's interpretation of the statute as long as it was reasonable. And you see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's the key. As long as it was reasonable. And the longer that this has stayed in play, this Chevron doctrine, the less reasonable these agencies have become. They have become authoritarian. And again, bringing it strictly back to the cryptocurrency space, we've seen that with all the agencies I mentioned earlier, but specifically with the SEC and Gary Gensler, just basically utilizing regulation through enforcement action on this space, forcing legitimate cryptocurrency companies and tech companies outside of the US, because again, it's been the marching orders of basically the FJB administration with regard to their stance on the cryptocurrency space. Again, for most of you who are watching this stream right now, this is not news. The FJB administration is no friend, despite what they might say, despite any roundtables they've been taking with cryptocurrency groups at this point. That's a bunch of bullshit. They are no friends to crypto. And we've seen that again with Elizabeth Warren losing her shit. And we're going to see one of her tweets with regard to this whole Chevron doctrine thing shortly. And again, just remember, she is up for re-election. For those, I know I got people in this live right now from Massachusetts. She is up for re-election. Make sure you go vote. Vote Deaton. He is pro-crypto. He is actually just pro-common sense. Whereas Warren now is, she started out being against big banks, and now she's literally getting her pockets lined by them. But again, not for this particular live stream. But you can help get her out of office in Massachusetts. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. Let's, you know what? Let's take a look at a different senator right now. Senator Lummis from Wyoming, okay? We're going to look at a tweet she put out after the ruling about the Chevron doctrine. Talk about complete 180 from the FJB administration and Elizabeth Warren, okay? So I'm going to read from what she actually wrote here, because I think it sums it up extremely well. For far too long, the Chevron doctrine has empowered unelected, key point right there, and unaccountable, another key point right there, federal bureaucrats to virtually inhibit, to have virtually uninhibited power to interpret the law however they please, and use that interpretation to cater to this administration's far left base. For years, the people of Wyoming, again, she represents Wyoming, have been forced to endure the consequences of an unchecked Biden administration and its heavy-handed regulations. He's written more executive orders than any president. Again, you can go do your own research with regard to all of that. And they have had enough. I applaud the Supreme Court's decision to restore decision-making power back to democratically elected members of Congress, as our founding fathers intended, rather than allowing DC bureaucrats to rule with an iron fist. Talk about summing it up nicely. And now remember, basically the reversal of this doctrine puts the interpretation of law strictly back to where it's supposed to be, which is in the purview of the court system, okay? The court system. But that's only when there's ambiguity in the law as it was created by Congress, who is the principal creator of laws, actually the only creator of laws, okay? That's the body that's supposed to be creating laws in this country. So it's done two things. It's given the court the right to interpret law, and it's given Congress back, or pushed back to Congress what they're supposed to really be doing in the first place, which is making good law, passing good law. Okay. And now Senator Lummis is obviously looking forward to being able to do that in Congress. Let's take a look at Senator Warren, on the other hand, who obviously has a different take because, why would she want to do her fucking job, right? Sorry. Day stream, not supposed to be swearing too much. Sorry about that. Anyway, but I guess you just know how I really feel, right? That one slipped out. Anyway, here we go. Here's her tweet from that, okay? And again, links in the description. For every federal law passed in the last 40 years, Congress understood that agency experts, and let's use those air quotes there, guys, agency experts would execute the will of democratically elected representatives, and that court challenges would occur during a short, defined period. That was settled law until this week. Well, that is a unique interpretation. See, here's the thing. She's saying that basically, okay, well, we're making the law. These agencies are simply interpreting the law. Well, that's great. But unfortunately, over the last 40 years, and probably much longer than that, quite frankly, Congress has not always made the best law. It has not always been the most, well-written, forward-looking. Every law does not always do that. And I mean, primary example, and we're going to look at it in a little bit, is the Howey test. You've got the SEC trying to use the Howey test, a 100-year-old securities test, on an entirely new asset class that wasn't even a glimmer in daddy's eye, if you would, during that particular time period. But yet, you've got Warren over here saying, oh, they're just interpreting what we put out as law. No. And, whatever any administration in power tells them to do, regardless of what the law is, hell, they make up their own damn regulations as they go. Again, SEC, Gary Gensler, regulation through enforcement. There you go. So let's keep going here, because I think it's interesting as she goes on. An extremist Supreme Court stacked by Donald Trump, again, orange man bad, right, has snatched power away from an elected Congress and handed lawmaking power over to a few far-right unelected judges. I think that's hilarious. In the first paragraph, she's talking about these unelected individuals who she's calling experts, which most of them are anything but experts, but let's not get going down that rabbit hole. And that's okay. They can do that. But then she's saying a few far-right unelected judges, bad, because Donald Trump put them there, and they're snatching power away from the elected Congress. Quite the opposite. They're not trying to take the power away from Congress. If anything, Senator Warren, they're trying to put the power back where it belongs. Interpreting is what the court should be doing, and creating is what Congress should be doing. So now the Supreme Court has basically told you to do your frickin' job better. But why would you want to do that? You can't help special interests if you are actually doing your job and being a representative of the people. But again, maybe for a live stream at a different time. Let's go take a look at her last portion of this right here. The Supreme Court is undermining the foundations of our democracy. That is like literally the Democratic talking point here. Congress must restore balance by adding more justices to the court. And again, she misses the point. She misses the point. One, the court system is part of the foundations of our democracy and our democratic republic, you stupid idiot. And then secondly, Congress must restore the balance by adding more justices to the court. It is not Congress's job to add justices to the court. It's Congress's job to approve justices appointed by the president. That's first. And second, no, Congress needs to actually do their friggin' job and create laws that aren't as ambiguous, that need to be interpreted in great degree by the court. So basically, shut up and do your damn job instead of sitting here tweeting and just, well, again, she's playing to her base. That's all she's doing. Because I mean, you've got people in this country that truly believe that what crap she's spewing. But I see that as less and less of a thing. Again, for those who are here from Massachusetts, again, I know you're here. She is up for re-election in November. Please go out and vote. Vote Deaton. John Deaton for Senate.com. Go ahead, visit his website, see what he's all about. You want to make a donation? I already did. Go ahead, do that, and go from there, because she's got to go. Elizabeth Warren, and yeah, she's got to go. Anyway, let's move on. I sometimes get off on tangents, so you know what? Let's, for those who don't follow MetaLawMan, you really should. Link again to this particular tweet in the description of this live stream, and follow him on Twitter. He great interpretation of a lot of the stuff that we need to understand better and interpret here in the cryptocurrency space. And I love what he's got it, this whole thing right here. The SCOTUS, so he's talking about the Supreme Court, ruling overturning Chevron reads as if it was specifically written with the SEC in mind. Money quotes right here, and he points out a couple. And so let's look through it. Chevron thus allows agencies to change course even when Congress has given them no power to do so. By its sheer breadth, Chevron fosters unwarranted instability in the law, leaving those attempting to plan around agency action in an external fog of uncertainty. Does that not 1000% describe how we've and every cryptocurrency related United States, and why they've been going outside of the United States because of this fog of ambiguity that he's talking about here? Specific, he's right. It's like when they wrote it, they were thinking all about the SEC. Hey, Trade Intuition in the house. Welcome, sir. Appreciate having you here. I always do. Everybody, don't forget, check out Trade Intuition. If you're into cryptocurrency trading, 3 p.m. every day on his channel. He is he's giving you great information. So, and matter of fact, if you've been following him, you're probably up on a number of projects right now. But go ahead, check that out. Appreciate you being here, sir. All right, let's. I want to move on to Balaji and the tweet he put out. It's a little bit long, and we're going to take a couple of different pieces of it to just kind of overview it, to give you the understanding that, again, this particular Chevron doctrine repeal, this overturning of this, doesn't just affect the cryptocurrency space, even though I'm focusing primarily on its effect on the cryptocurrency space. But as he lists here, technology is about to accelerate, because now with this being turned over or overturned, excuse me, guess what? The hands are off a lot of different things. And he lists this first one right here. I don't know if you guys remember the whole 23andMe lawsuit back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or something. That's the one he highlights here when he talks about genomics, yeah, I think I pronounced that correctly. And then nuclear power, where basically nuclear power should be a relatively inexpensive energy source. But thanks to agencies being able to basically manipulate the regulations for one power company to another, they've made getting nuclear power, regardless how you feel about it, more expensive, or at least equally as expensive as getting it from some of these other providers. And I'm sorry, but if you pay an electric bill, you know that the cost of electricity, the cost of power is just out of freaking control in this country. But again, I'm not trying to get down that particular rabbit hole right now. And then 3, he's talking about cryptocurrency, and we'll read this one. You guessed it. Congress explicitly give the SEC authority to regulate crypto? No, it did not. Cryptocurrencies didn't exist when the 1933 and 1934 acts were written, and that's where he's talking about the Howey test, okay? However, the SEC says it has regulatory authority over crypto, even when Congress is deliberating on bills to the contrary. Implicitly, that claim of the SEC authority too was under Chevron, and of course it is, or was at this point. So there are so many current lawsuits pending with the SEC in the courts right now with regard to various cryptocurrencies. I mean, we just saw what they're going after Consensus with regard to the whole MetaMask. There's still the one pending with Coinbase, still one pending with Kraken. And I know I'm missing one right now, and I'm having a brain cramp, so I apologize. Feel free, put it in the chat, and I'll I'll put it up there, because I can't remember it all. I cannot. It's a good time. Like, share, subscribe, help me out. Put your comments in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, let's just flip through a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to go to the last thing I had. So down here is what I wanted to kind of get to. Okay, because rule of law now dominates the lawless regulatory state, and he's talking about what this reversal means. If the regulator isn't specifically authorized by statute, they can't intervene. Can't invent some regulation to stop innovation, which is exactly, now he's not going to highlight crypto here. He's going to highlight something that we'll talk about just to kind of make the point that it goes so far into different aspects of U.S. regulatory agencies. But I mean, for us specifically here in the U.S., cryptocurrency related, and man. Anyway, but there's a second way to visualize the reversal. Regulators just got disarmed in the most literal sense, because ultimately a regulation is a threat of state force, right? I mean, you don't follow the regulations, you pay a fine, you go to jail, whatever the case may be. If you disobey one of the regulations, but if you disobey one of the regulators' made up rules, they eventually get a cop to point a gun at you, implicitly, or sometimes very explicitly. And he's, in this case, pointing out right here about police raid raw milk hippie club. Now, I don't care how you feel about raw milk or any of that crap. But the fact of the matter is that you literally, and you see it all the time, not just here, but in the cryptocurrency space, but all over, where these agencies, I mean, hell, you can say something on social media now, and in certain parts of the world, you got the police, the FBI, some other federal agency knocking at your door wanting to know what the hell you're doing. How dare you say that shit online? In this particular case, what he is talking about, I don't know if everybody knows, but milk in the United States is probably one of the most regulated industries that exist. I mean, again, it's part of the food supply, so it's very heavily regulated. And okay, you know what? I'm going to let him say what I want to say, because I think he says it better. I'm sorry. Right here, he says, to be clear, I don't have a position on raw milk others than I do think that, other than I do think that people should be able to choose their own foods. And there it is right there. That is literally the key. You and I should have the right to choose whatever we want to choose as long as we're not harming anybody else. We should be able to say whatever we want to say as long as we're not defaming someone else. And you know what? If you need a safe space, well, you definitely don't belong here, because I don't give a shit about insulting if that's what you're going to be. Oh, I'm insulted. Oh, good for you. But you're going to get it straight. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Go figure it out for yourself. So now let's get, I'm already over 45 minutes in here. So we're going to get to the last piece. Sometimes I get on tangents, guys. I apologize. But this was an article on The Block. U.S. Supreme Court ruling to overturn Chevron gives crypto industry a win, pundits say. And I highlighted a section here, but there's a couple of things I want to just kind of go over really quick. Right here. Experience has shown that Chevron is unworkable, Roberts said. Now, that's Justice Roberts that they're talking about, in his opinion. The defining feature of its framework is the identification of statutory ambiguity, which requires deference at the doctrine second step. So again, if it's so ambiguous and the court has no other legal precedent to call on, well, then the deference, or they defer to the agency who's supposed to be an expert. But the concept of ambiguity has always evaded meaningful definition because they're not right, or they're not wrong. What exactly is ambiguous, and why can't the court do kind of like we saw the court do in the Ripple case? All right. Right here, next one. Today, the court flips the script. It's now the courts, rather than the agency, that will wield power when Congress has left an area of interpretive discretion. A rule of judicial humility gives way to the rule of judicial hubris, according to this. Now, this is a dissenting opinion, obviously. I don't agree with that. And again, you got Senator Elizabeth Warren, and we went through her tweet already. She calls it a power grab. Listen, there ain't no power grab here. It's for you, do your freaking job and shut up about it. And stop dealing with corporate interests. Ugh. Let's not get me going. Again, back down to where crypto right here. Okay, so right here, I want to just quote this, and then we're going to kind of wrap this thing up. This ruling means that executive agencies like the SEC and the CFTC, again, we're talking about crypto now, will need to be more cautious in extending their regulatory reach without clear statutory authorization, especially in novel, new, and rapidly evolving fields like crypto and AI. That's it. That sums it up in a nutshell right there. I believe that the repeal of this, the overturning of the Chevron doctrine, this 40-year-old piece of ruling, means that there's hope. Even though right now, initially, it is a glimmer of hope for cryptocurrency companies here in the US. Now, does this mean that automatically everything's going to be better? Hell no. Hell no. You're still going to have to deal with these agencies trying to, exert themselves, and the FJB administration, while it's still in power, trying to exert itself, and stupid asses like Elizabeth Warren trying to utilize the banking, the Bankers Association to do things for them. No, we're still going to have to deal with that. The good news is that as many losses as the SEC and some of these other agencies have endured, the overturning of this will help to increase the number of wins that we'll see that do end up in the court and give the crypto industry, the crypto space, some much needed framework and clarity. Now, in the meantime, let's hope that, once these the new Congress is in, because they ain't doing shit before they start going back to their stomping grounds and try to stump for votes. As I recall, that happens in August, so we're less than a month away when Congress is going to be out. So if it doesn't get rammed down our throats in the next few weeks, it ain't going to happen till they get back after the election or around the election. So hopefully when the new Congress comes in, we'll get common sense framework for the cryptocurrency space here in the United States. And that will help to bring crypto businesses back to the US and allow businesses that are currently in the US to be able to flourish. I mean, this election, again, I've talked about it, right? This 2024 election is a cryptocurrency election. We're seeing it at the state level, and we're seeing it at the federal level. Every presidential candidate, in one way, shape, or form, has talked about cryptocurrency, is accepting cryptocurrency donations, talking, well, okay, a couple of them are talking about self-custody to be able to do that. And again, we're seeing that happen on a state level as well. So remember, we've got a voting block here, folks, which is why I'm asking you to share. Share this video with family, friends, whatever, this live stream once it's over. And if you're watching it on the replay, please share this. And don't forget, like and subscribe there. But we need to be advocates. And, the growing adoption is happening. The advocation of cryptocurrency is happening. Maybe not as quickly as most would like, but probably at a pace that's best for the space at this particular time. So help me share my, this understanding, this interpretation, the teachings, because people need to understand. People need to be able to protect themselves. All right, that's it. That's what I got for today. I appreciate everybody that's been in the live chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody that's sitting here watching. So let me tell you about what's going on for the rest of the week here, because tomorrow we have the holiday, 4th of July here in the United States. Tomorrow, I know sometimes I have people from across the pond, as they say, watching the live stream, and I appreciate all of you. But yes, we definitely have automatic beats as always. Awesome stream. Thank you. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that. But we're celebrating this country's birth here tomorrow, 4th of July, fireworks, cookouts, whole thing. And I'm going to guess a lot of people are having like the rest of the weekend off, that kind of thing. And I hope you are. I hope you're going to be able to, thank you, Trade Intuition. Yes. You're going to be able to celebrate with family, friends, etc. Now, tomorrow, I am definitely doing a live stream. I'm doing my normal live stream at 10 a.m. and it is going to be a Q&A. I'm calling it Freedom Q&A, and I'm going to have a surprise guest tomorrow. So make sure you tune in at 10 o'clock. I'm hoping I can have a lot of people here tomorrow, surprise guest in the house, to basically take your questions and give you their perspective on whatever you're asking. So basically, go ahead, join tomorrow, ask whatever, and let freedom ring, baby. I'm only off tomorrow. Oh, sorry to hear that, Automatic Beats. I understand. A lot of there are actually a bunch of people that got to work on Friday because it's odd, the holidays on a Thursday, but yet, work businesses trying to squeeze out as much from they can during the work week, right? Well, for those who are here and around tomorrow, appreciate you being here. So that's tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on Crypto Coin Mindset. Make sure that you're joining myself and our surprise guest to that particular live stream by asking whatever questions you have. Friday, don't forget, as always, 7 p.m. Join me, Crypto on the Rocks. We're going to have a drink or two or three or more. And we're going to talk cryptocurrency. I'm going to show you how you can dollar cost average into cryptocurrency using just 25 bucks a week. And you guys are going to get to vote on what we are going to dollar cost average into. So again, Friday night, 7 p.m., Crypto on the Rocks. Make sure you are here for that. And right after that, again, only on Patreon, After Hours Crypto. And believe me, if this week is anything like last week, Lord knows what we could be talking about on After Hours Crypto. Trade Intuition always joining in on Crypto on the Rocks and After Hours. Yeah, right there, baby. Bring your drink. Exactly. Appreciate it. All right. That's pretty much it, my friend. And I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you again. If you're heading out, don't forget, if you haven't already smashed up that like button, go ahead. I can see I've got a couple of people on Facebook. Thumbs up, please. Appreciate that. And go ahead, keep going. I hope you all have a great 4th of July. But you'll see me tomorrow, 10 a.m. So take care. I'll see you then.